Hello everyone, welcome back to the kitchen table. Today on the kitchen table, it's another part of the kind of longer term in-depth review I'm doing on the H, and this is looking at the camera. In the last video, despite the fact that I spoke about it, put an overlay on screen, wrote about it in the description, still had people saying, well, that camera doesn't look very good. Well, that's because I was doing a flight test and just picked a random setting on the camera and even rendered it on the wrong timeline. So now we're coming to the camera review. And also just a few, now I've 3 or 4 flights in now, just a few little things that I want to comment on now. I'm living with it. So before we go any further, it's the kitchen table. It is my kitchen table, and those who've been following the channel for a while know that we always have a beverage. It's early afternoon, so I'm on the coffee, home roasted monsoon Malabar. So if you are joining in, cheers. Oh, that's very good. I know some of you mentioned you have a drinking game where you join along, so thank goodness I'm on the coffee. So yes, nice day today. Slightly calmer winds than the last time I went out. Good weather. It was sunny with a few clouds dotted around. Went to the same place because it's a lovely place to fly, the Iron Age Hill Fort. Took my son Tom, who is 9, and he's been dying to have a go, and he flew it absolutely fine. What I'm going to do is I went out and I took a 4K, full res 4K bit of video. I took some 1080p 60 frames a second video. I took a JPEG and a DNG of exactly the same shot. I've uploaded those to a Google Drive folder, and hopefully you'll be able to access it. So when I've talked you through this, I'll put a link on the screen. You can click through, and then you can download those raw files from the SD card onto your computers and play the video, look at the DNG, look at the JPEG, and you can make your own subjective assessments as to quality. Those who've been with the channel for a while know I never hold myself out to be an imaging expert at all. It's so subjective. I've found in the past that, if you like it, you like it. I'm really not somebody who goes into the nitty gritty and looks at softness around the edges. That I'll leave that to you, giving you the raw files. So what I've done this time is, because last time everything was in a 25 frames per second timeline, because that's what I normally shoot these videos at, I've done this in a 60 frames per second timeline. So this part will look rubbish and the shots will look good. But anyway, let's go and quickly have a look. So yeah, here we are back on a lovely day on the same hillside as before. And here's my son, who's concentrating hard in the right place, and yeah, he did really well. It's not a difficult aircraft to fly when you dial those rates down. It makes it very sedate if you want, which is what makes it a good platform for filming too. And as you can see, when you get the angle right, it's very difficult to shot. It was bright enough. So here we go. Here it is. This is just a shot of it hovering and holding station really well, not having to fight the gusts so much as it was before. For those who had a comment about that whole performance, I find it absolutely fine. Here's a nice shot. You'll see the landing gear come in a minute. This is 60 frames a second at 1080p, just flying along in the typical kind of way, and I'm trying to concentrate on making my stick movements smooth and flying as if I would be flying in a filming context rather than a hooning around context. The next one, I used the auto gimbal rotate. So I set the rotation level and took my hands off and just climbed away, and you get a really nice, that very often used TV style shot of the climb away with the rotation. And of course you can change the speed of that. It's so easy to do with that rotary knob. I thought that was very crisp. And then we do a bit of a speed run just to show no props in shot when you actually think about it and set the rates appropriately. What you can see there is the prop shadow, of course. And that prop shadow happens because I'm on that run, I'm heading directly into the sun. It was mid to late morning, 10:30, 11 o'clock, something like that. So the sun was, not at its highest, but still it was there. And that's what that banding is. People have commented on the previous video. It's the sun coming through the 2 rotor discs at the front, and you're getting an interference pattern. Now, what can help that is a neutral density filter. Now, interestingly, I've been contacted by a company called Hobby Mounts in the UK who said, oh, we make these, which if you remember is just a protective cover that goes on the front of the camera. We make, or we stock these that have ND, different levels of ND filter built into them. Would you like us to send you some to see if it can make a difference? And that's something that I've said, yes, please. Because if you do fly into sun, then being able to use the ND filter to reduce or remove that prop shadowing would be an interesting thing to see if it works. So I'm going to get some of those hopefully, and we'll have a look. The other thing, of course, is to have a lens hood. I had one on my GoPro for my Phantom 2, which was made of very thin plastic material, and it just shaded the front of the lens enough that that shadowing from the sun didn't get through to it. Nevertheless, as you could see in the other shots, as soon as you move away from being dead on into the sun, no problem. But hopefully the main thing you could see there was when you set the rates and you are a bit less aggressively, and you're also thinking about filming rather than thinking about flying. Hopefully, as you saw, not a squeak of props in shot. So I think anyone who was worried about that, don't be. But there we go. If you want to have a look at the download, the link is in the description down below. I'll put it on the screen as well for you. Type that in, it should take you through to the folder. Please bear with me if the bandwidth has a problem and Google falls over because you're all trying to download it. But go and get those. And the only thing I would suggest is don't play the video on the Google Drive player. It basically compresses it anyway. Download the raw file. I haven't made them very long. They're not too huge. I think 20 or 30 seconds worth of video from 4K and so on. And have a look at yourself. For those that wanted to know as well, the bit rate is over 50 megabits per second on the 4K and mid 30s-ish on the 1080p. A couple of things, as I said, that I want to just mention having lived with it. I do find that the smart battery that comes in with the Typhoon doesn't have any external indicators on it as to what the power level is. So if I want to do a quick check, if I can't remember, certainly it will become more complicated when I get more than one of them. There's no simple way that I'm aware of to just see what the charge level is. You have to plug it in and fire it up. Plug it into the charger, I guess, will tell you that it's charging, therefore it's flat. But I do miss that convenience with the Phantom smart battery of some sort of standalone indication, because I like to know as well when I'm hit sort of a storage charge. The other thing is the landing gear. You'll see in one of the shots when you download it, I keep forgetting to raise the gear because I'm not used to it. So there's one where I locked the camera to the aircraft and I did a fairly sharp turn and the landing gear came into shot. Again, the whole point of having the gear is that they don't, but it's something you've got to get used to. What I do find though, I am very, very ultra conscious about putting them down before I land. That bit seems, but flipping them up when I'm taking off, not so much. There we go. That was it, as promised, a camera test. I'm not an expert. You're not going to get any more in-depth analysis on it from me because I wouldn't know what I'm talking about. But I thought for those of you who do, get the raw files, get the DNG stills, go and have a look. There's also a document I've put in the shared folder that explains what settings. Pretty much all on auto, and the color gamut that I chose was natural. That's it. I hope you find that useful. I hope that's going to answer some of your questions on the camera quality. Go and download it, see what it's like for yourself, and let us know in the comments what you found when you looked at them. That was it. Thank you very much indeed, as ever, for your time. Thanks for your support. When you look in the description below, if you're going to look for the link to the videos, there's some other links there for ways that you can, if you wish to, help to support the channel. But thank you very much for watching. Thanks for your support, and I will see you again soon back on the kitchen table. Until then, cheers.